Hello. Hey, I'm Jonathan from Stay the Way. Today is Utmost for His Highest, and it's January 19th. Would you join me for Vision and Darkness? Vision and darkness. So I don't want to stay in the dark, so I'm going to come up in the light. It says, when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And behold, horror and great darkness fell upon him. It's from Genesis chapter 15. And Lord, today I pray that we would be in the light as you are in the light, and that anything that isn't in the light that you would bring out. Now, that's a scary prayer if you're walking in darkness, but it's a pretty bold prayer if you're walking as a Christian in the light. Whenever God gives a vision to a Christian, it is as if he puts him in the shadow of his hand. That's from Isaiah 42. Chapter 49. The saint's duty is to be still and listen, and there is a darkness that comes from too much light. Say, what? That is the time to listen. The story of Abram and Hagar in Genesis chapter 16. I say Abram because he was Abram then. He gets to be Abraham later. In Genesis chapter 16 is an excellent example of listening to so-called good advice during a time of darkness. Now, why do we say that? Because, you see, God had told Abram, wait, I'm going to give you a son. And after 13 years of waiting, they decided to kind of take things into their own hands. And his wife decided to say, hey, take my maid and have a baby with my maid, right? And Sarah was wrong in it, and Abram is wrong in it. And so nothing but troubles come from the rest of it. It says when God gives you a vision and darkness follows, just wait. Never try to help God fulfill his word. Abram went through 13 years of silence, but in those years, all of its self-sufficiency was destroyed. That's the things that we do. We think, oh, I can depend on myself for this. But God kind of like waits us out and he lets that part of us die. But in those years, all of the self-sufficiency went away. He grew past the point of relying on his own common sense, and those years of silence were a time of discipline, teaching, instruction, patience. Nobody learns to run a marathon by walking 500 feet each day, right? You've got to add to it. You've got to be disciplined, and it's not comfortable to build on that foundation. It's not a period of God's displeasure. He's not upset with you. It's just discipline. It's what it looks like. There's never any need to pretend that your life is filled with joy and confidence. Just wait upon God and be grounded in him. That's from Isaiah chapter 50. So there are times when I don't feel like being uplifted and encouraging and joyful, but God is faithful and his promise is eternal. And so I know that my hope relies in heaven. And so the worst thing that could happen is I die and I go to heaven, right? This is pretty easy. Do I trust at all in the flesh, or have I learned to go beyond all confidence in myself and other people of God? Do I trust in books or prayers or in other joys of my life? Or have I placed my confidence in God himself, not in his blessings? That's a hard place to be. He says, I am Almighty God, El Shaddai, all-powerful. The all-powerful God. That's from Genesis 17. The reason we are all disciplined is that we will know God is real. He's teaching us to trust him. As soon as God becomes real to us, people pale by comparison, becoming the shadows of reality. Nothing that other saints do or say can ever upset the one who is built on God. So if you have a challenge going on, as I have, in your life, in my life, then focus on the Lord. Focus on that relationship with him and focus on what he would have you go through, because he's teaching you. That's what discipline is. It's learning to carry through with what you believe, even though it doesn't look like it. My life verse was 2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith and not by sight. May you walk by faith and not by sight. May God bless you. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.